I decided I would do a final kind of review on this saw and just show the mods that I did to it. Like when I first got this saw, I'm thinking like, what a piece of junk. But actually now it's a pretty good saw for, for the price of it and whatnot. I haven't ran this thing for about probably a good month and a half. We'll just see how it starts. It says to prime it 6 times, so we'll see here. Choke on. When you pull a choke on this one, it automatically turns the ignition on as well. Let's see if she fires up. Chain brake off. Oh, my chain's a little loose there. I'll have to tighten that up. So it's a bit lean. One thing I find about these cheaper Poulan homeowner saws is I don't know if the screws are backing out for the mixture or not. It seems like maybe they are. I don't know. I live in the mountains, so we're at higher elevation where I'm on top of almost a mountain right now. It's not a mountain peak or nothing, but like the foothills, so we're up probably about 5,000 feet. And in town is about 3,500 feet. So even just the temperature or the elevation change can change the way this thing runs. And also the temperature, we're in Canada. Like I said, we're in the mountains. So one day it's hot and the next day it's cold. Like we just got the snow last night. So anyway, I'm just going to richen it up here. I'll just back the low speed screw out. That'll richen it up a bit to get rid of that bog when I first fire it up. And then I'll go ahead and I'll start pulling things apart and I'll show you all the mods we did. And then maybe towards the end of the video we'll do a little bit more cutting with it. Okay, it wasn't the mixture screws. Watch towards the end of the video, you'll see what I did to remedy the erratic running issue. Okay, let's put it on the old operating table here and we'll get right to it and show you what we did. Okay, so we'll start with the top cover. So what I did here was I just drilled a few extra little holes in here just to give a little more air, make it a little more snappy. That's all we did on that one. This one I didn't trim the cover up because it seems to blow a lot of air out of here, so that's all pretty good that way. This one still has a stock bar and chain on it. I'm going to see if I can use that Husky 41 style drum and sprocket. I haven't even checked it out yet, but if you could change this chain to a 0.325 pitch chain, I'm sure this saw would really wake up, change the characteristics of it. Okay, I checked it out and the Husky 41 sprocket will not work. So maybe there's another sprocket that'll work, but that Husky 41 for sure will not. Okay, as far as the muffler goes, I don't know if you can see that. I still want to open up this muffler just a little bit more. You can see where where it's opened up there. This was crimped in quite a bit, and I bent this out. And then I took the Dremel and I ground the inside of this muffler. And there's also a little spark arrestor screen that I took out of there as well. You could probably leave that in still, but the big thing is just opening the exhaust up, and it definitely smartened it up. But when I take this right off of here and it could just shoot straight out, you really notice a power difference in these things. So definitely a muffler mod on these makes a big difference. The holes for the intake just make it a little bit snappier. And I'm going to pull this top cover off, and I'll show you what else I did onto this thing. Wow, it's just dead calm. Oh, it was dead calm till that raven made some noise. But yesterday it was just crazy windy here. Today it's so peaceful, dead calm. Oh. There he goes. That's cool. You can hear, it's so quiet you can hear their wings flapping. Okay, let's get back at this. I shouldn't have said anything. Here comes the wind. Okay, so here's the other thing I did to this top cover was I drilled 3 holes in there just to give it a little more air. Before, this is where it sucked the air from. There was no holes in the cover at all, and it just it drew air from. There's just this tiny little area where it was sucking air from, I think. So I noticed though I could never get this saw it's a 2-barrel style carb here, right? Is the one on the bottom there, and then this one. I don't really like the cable thing. I wish they would have made it some kind of mechanical deal. But basically, this one opens first a bit, just a little bit, and then the other one opens up. It does rev a lot higher than those 2150s and 2050s and whatnot. But I couldn't get the snap. Like it just didn't have the throttle response. So I cut these little things out here. This is kind of for, I guess, reversion, or they call it, or like for fuel spitting back. I think that's what that's for, or it just could be, you know, to stop the filter from sucking in. But anyways, I tried cutting the one off, and I noticed right away. It right away you could just feel the snap. So then I just cut the other one off. And I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it is definitely better than what it was. So, you know, if you do that and it doesn't work for you, well, you know, there's no going back unless you buy one of these covers. So use at own risk. But it worked for this saw. That's all I really did to it. Again, nothing crazy, but it definitely woke the saw up. The muffler mod was the biggest change. Other than that, it's actually not a bad saw. It's got way more power than that 2150. It revs out a lot higher. Well, this one's 41 or 42 cc's. I got my little, yeah, I do. Okay. I'm going to pull the exhaust off and we'll have a look in there. I'll pull that off and I'll show you. But really, these saws get such a horrible reputation, and they're not a bad saw at all. I mean, if you get one cheap, pick it up. I mean, there's better saws out there. Right now, they got those 52cc Chinese clones, and they're, I think, cheaper than what these are. And they're 10 times the saw that this one is. But if you get this saw, and it's blown up or something, you can get the parts on eBay. It's super cheap. You know, it's like 20 bucks for a top end. You know, you get all the parts you need for these things. So don't throw it away if you have one. It's probably worth fixing. Okay, we'll pull this exhaust off. Oh, one other thing I did with the spark plug. They do come with an NGK. I gapped this plug to, I think it was 30 thousandths of an inch. It comes stock at around 24, and I gapped it a little wider. Just seemed to start better when it was hot. And so yeah, other than that, we'll get to this exhaust here. Okay, look at that happy face. So there you can see. I wish I might actually have a picture of it. We'll see, of what it looked like stock. But you can see I opened it up there, and I'm going to open up this corner a little bit more, just to let it breathe a little more. I think they say you're supposed to go 70% of the exhaust port size. Maybe that's already too big, I don't know. There's some restriction in there. This one's got a baffle in there, and I can't pull this exhaust apart on this one, so we'll just go a little bigger on this here, maybe to compensate a bit. But definitely, it made a huge difference. When I take this cover off, it's super loud, but it definitely has more jam. But I don't like it that loud, and I'm selling this saw, so it's just good the way it is. All I did was bend this piece out here. Just bent it out so it could breathe a little better. I think I had it one time where it was starting to melt here, so you gotta keep an eye on that. I just adjusted the plate here, and then that took care of the melting that was going on. Okay, we'll pull this thing off. You need a Torx to pull it off. We'll see what that piston looks like. I haven't had it off, well, since I got the saw, so probably 7-8 months ago. We'll see what it looks like. Actually, before that, I'll start it up. Just show you what it sounds like with that plate off. Okay, let's fire it up. I just fired it up, and it makes a big enough difference that you really have to richen the low end up. So if you do a muffler mod, make sure you adjust the carb. You'll have to. More exhaust getting out and needs more fuel getting in, I guess. Makes it really, really snappy that way. It's not that loud. Wear earplugs. Okay, I'm actually gonna put this cover back on, and we'll just see what kind of difference it makes here. Okay, cover's back on there. See that? See how big of a difference that makes? You can totally hear it's running rich now. So yeah, the muffler mod, it hands down makes a big difference. So now I have to retune the carb and lean it out because you can hear it's too rich there. Okay, well we'll pull the muffler off and we'll have a look at this piston. Okay, so it takes a T30 Torx. That's what you're gonna need to get this this muffler off. Okay, let's pull her off here. And there we go. There she is. So we'll, it's got this little heat shield like the 2150s do. Look at that thing. It looks brand new in there. Can you see that? Oops. Oh, this is just a single ring on this one. Okay, that's right. That aftermarket kit I have for my other 2150 or the 2050 is a dual ring. Okay, cool. So this is a single ring. Anyway, yeah. Looks really good. No scoring at all. So yeah, that's it. There's not much to them here. But it'd be fun to port one of these. This saw was almost new when I got it here. I don't have that many hours on it, so I'm gonna sell this saw. But if I ever come across another one, I'd like to port one of these just to see what you can get out of it. They do rev out pretty good, and it's got that 2-barrel carb, so it's a little unique that way. Okay, so on the muffler, my hands are cold, so this will warm it up a bit here. Can you see? Yeah, you see it's still got the baffle in there. Normally I'd like to take that out, but this muffler doesn't come apart. Unless you grind it apart. So I don't know if there's another muffler that fits. If anybody knows, that's watching this video, that knows of another muffler that'll bolt right onto there. I thought I tried the 2150 style and it didn't. I can't remember. I should check that out though to see. But yeah, so it's got the baffle in there. You can see it breathes pretty good there. You see that? At the top, it's pretty choked up. Like even though I opened this up here, it's pretty choked up there. Like you can see, I don't know, you could probably mod that a little bit. Open that up somehow. Trying to get the light in there, but I don't think we're going to be able to see that today. Anyway, you get the idea. So you could play around with that and maybe get a little more jam. because when you leave it like this, it for sure needs more fuel to run, or it'll run lean. And you've seen that when I just put that top plate on there. It goes from that, to that. And it makes that much of a difference. So we'll open up this bottom corner here in a bit. We'll open up this bottom corner. We'll really make him smile there. Looks like a face. And Cyril's sneer. We'll put a cigar in his mouth there, and he should run better. Always waiting to play ball. She's a good old dog, this one. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Hey! Oh, jeez. Where's your ball? Where is it? Does anybody see her ball? Maybe a bear got it. Maybe the raven took it. There it is. She was sitting on it. What a goof. What a goof. Ooh. There you go. Still likes to play ball. 15 years later. Never gets sick of it, eh? Okay, so one thing to show you here. Here's that 2-barrel system. So it opens the bottom barrel on the carb. And there's the top one right there. Now, I'm sure you could play with this thing and put like a little sleeve or something on here to build it up so it would actually open that top barrel a little faster. I guess that'd be pretty easy to do. I should try that before I actually sell this saw, just to see if it makes a difference on power. Maybe it'll make it bog out, I don't know. Anyway, that's just something that you could play with if you wanted to try out. It's kind of neat how they're different. The only thing I don't like about this, I don't like this play in the cable, and I don't know if I can adjust that or not. But I don't really care for that play. If I could have just a solid linkage, it would just feel better, you know. Okay, another thing to note on these saws, the oiling is really good on them. You don't have to mess with anything. Maybe if you went, well, it's got an 18-inch bar on it. Maybe if you went with a 22, you might have to, but or 20 even, I don't know. It throws plenty of oil. The 2050s and the 2150s, they need a little bit of help, but these are pretty good. Okay, we'll fire this thing up again and I'll show you the difference. We'll talk about how it runs a bit rich here, but I'm gonna run it just to show you. Okay, yeah, so I put the cover on and I had to lean it out just a little bit to make it clean up. But when you rev this thing up, you notice that it just burbles a bit, like it four-strokes just a little bit. I can totally hear it. I don't know if somebody that doesn't mess with these very often would notice that or not, but I've never been able to clean it up 100%. The closest I came was when I cut those little plates there off of the air intake. When I cut those off, that helped a bit, but it still never cleared it up. But what we were just talking about, if I was to open that top barrel a little bit faster, I'm wondering if that actually would fix this issue. Maybe that's what I should do, is just put a little shim or something on there, like a little, like tape it up, or whatever I got to do, just to make that top barrel open a little faster. I am going to do that. I will try that. But anyway, I'll just show you, see if you can hear it. But yeah, you can hear it on the top end how it still runs a bit rich there, even despite the low end running lean. But I'll do some cutting with it. just tuning this chainsaw. I can't even see it now, but there's a white-tailed deer there somewhere. There he is. There's two of them, I think. They're feeding. Oh, he heard my dog bark. If I was hunting, I'd have myself a deer right now. He's about 150 yards away. There they go. These act a little bit differently when you tune them. They because they got that 2-barrel, I think is why. Usually when you're tuning any other carb, you know, you tune your low and your high separately. And if you have a bog, you turn out your low to give a little more fuel, so it cleans that bog up. On these, because it's got the smaller hole on the bottom and then the bigger one on the top barrel, you actually it responds to the high jet. So they're a little bit different than tuning the other ones, at least that's what I've found. So sometimes instead of turning the low end out to richen it up, you actually have to turn the high jet out a bit. So just play around with that if you're not familiar with this 2-barrel style system. Maybe that's why they get such a bad reputation, because a lot of people hate these saws. But once they're tuned up and stuff, they cut good. This one now, my idle's a bit low, so I just got to turn the idling up. But okay, let's cut a bit here. Okay, we'll do some cutting. So yeah, to put the fast or the throttle lock on these things, you just pull the choke out and then in. Okay, so this is a different day, but here's what's happening. Right there, it starts to open up that top barrel. So I got this little piece here. It's a limiter cap off this Steel MS250. So I'm just going to put that on there, like that. And you can see, like, it actually opens it a little bit quicker. See if I take it off there, there's about 1/4 of an inch before it touches. So we're going to try that. I got to put some tape on there, electrical tape, just to have it hold on place, but we'll try it out. Okay, I did try this out, and I couldn't notice really much of a difference. It certainly didn't seem to benefit anything by having that thing open a little bit quicker. But who knows, maybe more testing is needed there. hopefully that makes your little Poulan 4218A run a little bit better. They're definitely a little bit tricky to tune. That 2-barrel system is a little bit hard to get right. But just keep playing with it, you'll get it right. Those little mods make a big difference. It definitely could pull a bigger chain and a longer bar. Pretty smooth idle for a chainsaw. Finally got this thing, you know, pretty much done with all the mods and everything. One thing I did though, right at the very end, I had all my little air intake and muffler mods, and the thing, it didn't want to, after I'd cut a while, it was starting to act up. So I played around with the spark plug gap, and I said, what the heck, let's just try 40 thousandths of an inch. It's supposed to be 25. And I had been running 30, and when it started acting up, I put it back to 25, and it just kept dying and dying. So I put it at 40 thousandths of an inch, and the saw has never ran so good. I don't know if that's, you know, if that's a bad thing for the ignition or whatever, but it's gotten really good now. Like, it doesn't have much for a chain on it, just the way they come stock. No skip tooth, whatever they call that. But anyhow, we'll do some cutting with it here. winter again, folks. That's pretty cool. We don't want to go off the edge here. Okay, well, we made her. Like I say, you don't really want to go off of there. You're a goner. A goner. I don't think many big trucks come up this trail. We're just crawling along. Haven't spun a wheel yet. Right on empty. Always good to be on empty while climbing big steep hills. Forgot to fill up before we left. We're not far from home.